All right, we are back on PALS TV with our final segment of the day, but it's a real doozy. Tish and I were just talking in the meeting before we started about how the earthworks is located very close to our Heath location, and I've driven past it countless times, and I've never really had the opportunity to stop and learn all of the stuff that's going on in there. So I'm really excited that Tish is stopping by today with our step group and our friends, and she's gonna tell us a little bit more about Newark earthworks. So can you hear us okay, Tish?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you, Donna. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Newark Earthworks, guys. It is in Heath, and for a lot of you, like myself, when we're just driving down 79, you don't really think two things about it. You know, you just look over and you see a whole bunch of hills, and you know, that's about it. Until I started researching, why is this place that has hills so popular for people to stop, picnic, people to walk around? What is the deal with the earthworks? So my surprise, everyone, it is part of history. So I'm going to talk about that as we walk along. So as you guys can see, these are these hills that I'm talking about. So they're actually there for a reason, and we'll get into that. So we will walk, and I'll tell you a little bit about this place. So it was built by the ancient Hopi culture, and it was between 100 BC and 500 AD. And the architecture of Mounds in ancient America was part of cathedral, cemetery, and astronomical observation, and we'll explain more about why astronomy played a part in this. So this entire original Newark earthwork originally encompassed more than 4 square miles. But over the years, the Newark destroyed many of the earthworks. But 3 major segments, guys, survived. And one of them is the Great Circle earthwork. And that's where we're at right now. So the Great Circle of earthworks was known as Mound Builder State Park. And it's funny because I've only been in Licking County for 4 years. So as a newbie here, when I talk about earthworks, people give me this, what in the heck are you talking about, lady? Because everybody is used to calling it mound builders. To me, mound builders is the medical office by like a memorial. And this is what people are talking when talking about mound builders. So moving on from there, the Great Circle is nearly 1,200 feet in diameter, and it was likely used as a ceremony center by its builders. Now remember, the builders were the ancient Hopewell culture, and that again was between 100 BC and 500 AD. The 8-foot high walls surround a 5-foot deep moat. So right here, there's no water in it anymore, but just imagine back in the day, you know, back in 100 BC, there was water in this moat. That is 8 feet tall, that mound, and the moat is 5 feet deep. And Kaylee thinks that's funny. It's so big. So next is the octagon earthwork, and that is enclosing 50 acres. Guys, this has 8 feet walls, each measuring 550 feet long and from 5 to 6 feet in height. And it is joined by parallel walls to a circular embankment enclosing 20 acres. So again, we're going to move over to this side because here is one of the other ones. Presently, the octagon earthworks is the also the site of the Mountain Builders Country Club golf course. And that is actually down the road. The entire grounds are open 4 times a year during daylight saving hours. You can actually, if you go on the Earthworks website, they will give you information. You guys can take guide tours. Because of the coronavirus going on, it is limited on days and hours, and they do ask that you do your math. So that is visible to you. So finally, the third mound that has stood the test of time is the right earthworks. And this consists of part of a geometrically near perfect square, guys. And it has an enclosure that was part of one wall that originally formed a set of parallel embankments, which led from the square to an oval enclosure. Originally, the size of the New York Square ranged from 940 to 950 feet long, and they enclosed a total area of about 20 acres. So, little tidbit about this, guys. Nobody really knows why the Hopewell designed this. One theory is that they built these earthworks on such a massive scale for astronomical accuracy, and I'll explain. In 1982, Professors Ray Hidley and Robert Horn of Earlham College, and that's in Indiana, discovered that the Hopewell builders aligned these earthworks to the cycle of the rising and setting of the moon. The octagon earthworks, for example, are aligned to the 4 moonrises in the 4 moon set that mark the limit of a 18.6-year-long cycle. So that is the theory of these 2 scientists, but nobody has conclusive evidence as to why these exist. And again, for somebody like me who didn't know better, I just thought, hey, they're hills in a park. What do? And they're actually a really big part of history. So these earthen architecture guys are the largest in the United States. And we'll come over here, and this says, archaeological reveals hidden aspects of earthwork construction. In 1992, archaeologists excavated a trench through the Great Circle and discovered that it was built using different colored soils. The outer portion of the walls was built with dark brown soil. The inner portion was built with brightly colored yellow-brown soil. And these colors must have had a powerful symbolic meaning to, again, the Hopewell culture, because we do not know whether they kept the walls clear of vegetation so the colors could be seen, or allowed the vegetation to grow over the walls. So as you can see, that's what they excavated back in 1992. And again, remember that these walls are 8 feet tall. So look at the people standing there, the archaeologists, how small they look against the 8 feet tall walls. So we will move on to more. And if you guys look over here, there's more ridges to the mounds. So they're everywhere. But I would have loved to have seen back in the day, you guys, when before Newark was so big and this was predominantly taken over, you know, the landscape. I would love to see the actual 50 acres and the structure of it back in the day before, you know, modern society started to build. This is a great place for picnics. There is a lot of shade, and it also offers shelter houses so that if you have get-togethers, or even if you just want to come on your lunch break and sit and eat, you're, sheltered from the weather. So we are continuing to walk along these mounds. And I'll tell you, I am 5'9", and I feel small standing alongside of these mounds. They're huge. You cannot see, standing on the bottom, you cannot see what is over the tippy top of these mounds. But we are going to continue to walk around because, like I said, I've never been here. Just like Jonah was speaking, he's driven by it, so have I. But I've never stopped to really appreciate or, enjoy the historical factor that this plays within our town. So I am curious. I am one that always likes to be, what's on the other side? Let's go around the corner. Let's keep walking and go around the corner and see what's next. So I don't know how long we're going to walk, but I'm just curious what this all looks like. Because it's different, different from driving, guys. It's a different perspective when you're driving. You don't get face to face with it. So it's neat to stand here and on history. Guys, the Hopewell culture was right here. I am standing where they stood, which is really stinking cool. Also, we also explain why Hopewell Drive is named Hopewell Drive. Makes a lot of sense because of the Hopewell culture being here with the earthworks. So as we're walking, Kaylee is enjoying a leisurely stroll provided by Jeremiah. And I can hear him back there every time I'm talking about how big these mounds are. Kaylee's going, whoa, whoa. So, and Jeremiah said, that is big. So I'm so tempted to see what is around this corner. And I kind of closed my eyes and I kind of envisioned being back in ancient times, guys, where the Hopewell culture was. And what did they look like? How did they talk? What do they look like? I would love to know their purpose here. Why did you pick little Heath, Ohio, which, back in the day was not Heath, Ohio. Why did you pick this area to build mounds? What was the purpose of these? How'd you do it? Back in that day, you didn't have modern day tools. What did you use? What did you use? How did you do it? How long did it take? How many people were in this Hopewell culture here that designed this? These are all questions that nobody is going to get answers to. And for myself, sometimes I don't like the what ifs. I like to have answers. But this is something that we really just won't know. So we can hypothesize and have theories on why they're here, but there's not going to be concrete evidence to support those theories. So as we are coming up here, we're coming up to a marker map, and I will show you what land is for this. So this is the area. This is huge. This states that the Great Circle Earthworks, one remnant of the largest complex of geometric earthen enclosures ever built. That is so cool, guys. In Ohio, in Heath. What? The Newark Earthworks, situated on a high terrace between the South Fork of the Licking River and Raccoon Creek, once covered more than 4 square miles. At present, only the Great Circle, and we talked about this, the Great Circle, the Octagon, and Circle combination in a small portion of the square are still preserved on the public land. Newark Earthworks, again, was built about 2,000 years ago by the people we know, Hopewell. The giant geometric enclosures, such as the Great Circle, were centers for social, religious, and possibly economic interactions. I wonder what kind of economic interactions they had back in the days 2,000 years ago. So located in the center of the Great Circle is a series of small conjoined mounds, collectively referred to as Eagle Mound, which covers the remains of a large Hopewell house. How cool is that? It was not a dwelling, but rather an important social and religious gathering. An excavation through the wall of the Great Circle indicate that it was built in 3 stages, and that different colored soils, like we were talking about a minute ago, were used in each stage. Originally, there was also a low outer wall which surrounded the Great Circle. 2 segments of this outer wall are preserved at the eastern end of the park, where they converge into parallel walls leading to the square. That is really cool. So I am going to walk up these stairs. And we're gonna see, remember how I told you what's on the other side? Because these walls were so huge, I didn't know what was on the other side, and I'm just curious. So, this, my friends, is the other side. We are in the middle of the mounds. So as I descend down these stairs, we are walking smack dab in the middle of history, even further than we were just a minute ago. So here was, remember that moat, guys, I was talking about, that I said was there 2,000 years ago, but obviously it's dried up by now. It ran right here too. You could see the carvings of where the water was through the mounds. So this is where the water carved through. There's the wall. Now remember, we were on the other side of the wall, guys. So the wall was 8 feet above us. We are on the other side of the wall. Now we are coming to the middle of the mounds. So here we are. It is huge and it is beautiful. And guys, if you have kids, bring like little toddlers or, elementary school kids, bring activities, bring balls and stuff. And this area, look at this, this area is huge and it's predominantly light. But I mean, you have a few obstacles, trees, but still, you guys can have a picnic right here. You can have your kids, playing, activities, whatever. This is, I'm outdating myself, guys. If you have croquet, bring your croquet and set it up right here. If you have bocce ball, bring it here and set it up. We did Yahtzee. Bring your Yahtzee. Jonah talked about the Jenga for your yard. Bring your yard Jenga. It is the perfect place to chill, relax, and have family time. And I love how it has an abundance of shade. So, if you do get hot, just pop a squat under a tree with the blanket and chill for a while. So this is really cool. So in front of us is this huge tree, guys. A dead tree, I should say. But it is so rotted out that this little kid, I want to say 4 or 5-ish, was able to fit inside of this hole, which I think is really cool. So I'm curious as to how deep in this crevices of this tree, but there is somebody sitting in the hole. And like I said, that little boy just came out from it. So, but look, guys, look at this. The mound keeps going and going and going. I feel like I'm in a fort. These are the fortress walls. This is really cool. Now, you remember we were seeing that marker and it said inside of these walls were those little mounds. In front of me are those little mounds. So, and seeing those little kids on those little mounds reminds me of being a little kid and just rolling down a hill. That's perfect. So we're gonna come over here. And I was talking to you guys about the inside of this tree and the inside of how far it goes and how deep. I could fit inside there. Tanner could fit inside there. So we're gonna see. We're gonna try this out because I'm curious and I'm like a little kid. I want to try. So let's go see. But guys, also I wonder like what kind of creatures live in here at night. What's whose home is this at night, creature wise? So, So look at this, everyone. This is deep. Oh, and it has you can go through it. Okay, so watch, guys. I'm gonna flip my camera. Let's see if I can flip my camera. Hi, everybody. Hi, Nick. All right, everybody, now watch. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I suck it in. Can I fit? Look, guys. I did it because I'm determined. I am in this tree. This is so super cool. So again, look up, guys. Look. That is so cool. Okay, I am going to try to squeeze my way back out of this tree. So here we go. You ready? I'm squeezing. Tanner is a lot skinnier than I am, and I'm sure he would have. No, Tanner, you want to try to fit in the tree? Watch this. Look at that. He didn't even have to work at it. Look. So Tanner, a full-grown adult, is in that tree. That's really cool. So as we keep walking, guys, we're going to approach those little mounds that I was talking to you about. Now remember, where we are and where those walls are, there was a moat, guys, that ran through and carved through that area. So that moat went all the way around in a huge circle. I feel coming towards these mounds, I feel as though I'm entering the greens of the golf course. And I'm coming up and the hole is on the other side of the mound. Because that's just that, I don't know, it just gives me that feel. Because some golf courses do look like this. I don't know, it just gives me a feel I'm approaching a green, and I'm trying to get a par. Sounds good to me. I can do it in miniature golf, but I don't do very well in regular golf. That's why I'm usually the caddy. So, but here we go, guys. We're coming up on the little mounds. Again, I'm not very sure what the purpose of these little mounds were, but here they are. So 3 little mounds inside a big mound. Again, I wonder what the purpose of this was. So we'll walk up on top of this mound. This is really pretty, guys. Like I said, you guys can come here and just get active. Even if you're just a single adult, or I don't know, if you have some friends or whatever, walk around here, guys. It's big enough. So we're gonna go up this mound. Tanner's leading the way. Tanner makes it look easy. Awesome. Here we go. I see another marker over there, so we're gonna head over to that marker and see what that says. These markers are for your information, important stuff, so I just wanna go ahead and read it. We're gonna head over to the marker. Guys, this area is not small in the least. It's huge inside here. So again, it just, brings me back to how long did it take for them to build this stuff? And what in the world did they use tool-wise? That might be some research for me later on, because I didn't see anything on the Newark Earthworks website, but it doesn't say that I can't do further in-depth research to figure out. So let's see. Tanner, I wonder what this says over here, bud. I know. Let's go figure this out. We're investigators. All right. What does this say? Ah. Oh, that's what it is, guys. An eagle at the center. Early excavations reveal a timber structure beneath the eagle mound. So one of those little mounds that we were, oh, it's that one. The one I'm pointing to, guys, that's Eagle Mound. Okay. In 1928, Emerson Greenman excavated Eagle Mound and discovered traces of a ceremonial log house. Oh, super cool. With two walls projecting from the eastern and like wings. These walls may have been screens to hide certain activities from public view. Within the structure, Greenman found a central fire basin, two copper ornaments at the eastern ends of the building, and scraps of cut mica scattered on the western floor. At some point, the people took down the structure and covered the site with a 3-lobed mound of earth. Do you remember when I just asked you the question, why are those 3 mounds here in the middle of this big mound? Ta-da! It hid that log house. So that's what that is. So this is Eagle Mound. So that is that mound right there. Those 3 mounds hid the log house structure, guys. I'm so glad I have questions and answers. That makes me happy. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to continue. We're going to go back over another mound. And we're going to walk back where we were. So again, all of this is surrounded by 8-foot wall, a moat, and then the inner part of, I want to call it a fortress. And then again, guys, as we are coming up on this mound, remember that these 3 mounds are not just any ordinary mounds. These hid a log house back in the day. I wonder if there's any remnants. I mean, because, you know, they excavated this, and I'm sure that they pulled artifacts out. I wonder if deep down there's any other artifacts hidden right beneath my feet and right beneath Tanner's feet. That'd be really cool. Okay, guys, so we are walking back around to where the stairs and the bridge were. Man, you can get your exercise here, I'm telling you. What a perfect, beautiful day again, guys, for this. So now you know when you're driving to Heath, driving through it, and you just see these hills. They're not just any ordinary hills, guys. There's history to this. I wonder, because this is how my mind works. I wonder if at night, guys, since this is back 2,000 years ago, I wonder if there's like Hopewell culture ghosts that claim this land still. I wonder, oh! This is how my mind thinks the rest of the stuff, guys. I remember reading, this is super cool, guys. I remember reading an article that people have genuinely seen orbs in the night sky above this area. And it just dawned on me, you know, when I was talking about, I wonder if there's Hopewell culture ghosts here. It triggered something in my head that I read something on that. Believers say, because there are some people that have claimed that they have seen orbs, guys, So orbs are little balls of light, little round balls of light that hover in the air. And people say that they see orbs hovering around this area at nighttime. Didn't specify what time, didn't specify what part of, the earth works, but nonetheless, they said that they have seen orbs. So the investigator that I can be sometimes makes me want to come and travel in, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know, maybe midnight, just to see if I can see these orbs. How stinking cool is that? So Tanner is crossing the bridge and going back up these stairs. So here we go. Again, the moat once resided right there. Now it's just a dry creek bed, but nonetheless, used to be there. Okay. And now we are on top of the wall. Remember, the wall is 8 feet tall. We are on top of it. Now we are descending back down the other side. Let's go ahead and we'll make our way back this way. Again, now we don't need to wonder what's on the other side of these mounds because we're in it. Who knew, guys, from, driving on 79 or even walking, that there was anything inside of these. But it was beautiful in there. It was luscious greenery and trees, and now we know again why those mounds were there. So super cool. Tanner, what do you think the Hopewell culture used to make these big mounds? They didn't have tools like we do now. So what do you think they used?
I had to use some sort of stuff underneath the ground because the ground was hard at that point. So
Right.
It was, as you said, no real way to get. There's no tools.
Right. So if they need to dig deep in the ground, and we already know that there's no tools, modern day tools, what do you think they used back in the day?
Shovels.
But they don't have shovels like we have shovels now. So what do you think they used as a shovel?
What?
Ooh, I heard. It was on the tip of your tongue. What were you going to say?
Rock.
Rocks? Right?
Yeah.
I swear I heard, yep, I thought I heard you say that. They could take rocks that are sharp enough in the shape of, a spade, and use their, hold it and use their hands to dig. What else do you think they could have used to make this? Well, they don't have rakes like we have. So what do you think they could have used to make a rake?
Their hands.
Their hands. Hands are great tools, aren't they?
Yep.
Great job. Let's see, what else could they make rakes out of? Guys, there's a marker all the way over here. I don't know, maybe let's just walk to it. Hey, Kaylee, let's roll that way. And because I'm an investigator and I see another marker and I just want to know what it says. Okay, guys, so Tanner and I were discussing that they didn't have tools like we have tools now, okay? They couldn't go to Home Depot and buy tools. So what do you think the Hopewell culture could have used to make these mounds? Any ideas? Kaylee, any ideas of what the Hopewell culture could use to make these big mounds? These, you don't know, these big hills? Okay, so Tanner said hands, which again, hands are great tools. Even today, guys, your hands are the greatest tools that you have. So hands, we were talking about rocks are sharp enough, you know, you could pound them around and kind of scrape away the dirt or whatever. Tanner, what else do you think, bud?
Maybe if you have something really sharp like a little sharp nail, you pound it into the dirt with your hand.
So I'm thinking back in the day, 2,000 years ago, they didn't really have nails.
No, you're right.
But what could they have used in substitution for a nail?
Probably a drill.
Well, they didn't have drills. Wonder bone? I don't know. Could they have used bone to dig? Because bone is hard. Huh. They're 2,000 years ago, you think they had slaves? Oh, guys, here we go. This might answer your question too. Pathway to ancestors, guys. Earthen's avenue connect the earthworks to one another and to the surrounding streams. You guys see this picture right here? Right there? That is an aerial view of what this looks like. Now, if you remember, guys, as Newark was becoming more populated, a lot of the earthworks was destructed. So this picture is not currently what you see. So let's read, guys. This earthen wall is part of a set of converging walls that once channeled the movement of people from the great circle into an avenue enclosed by parallel walls. This avenue led to a large square earthwork right here, located to the northeast. The right earthworks preserved a small remnant of the square. Beyond the square, another set of parallel walls led to a large oval earthwork in which there were a number of large and small burial mounds. Guys, cha-ching. Now we know that within this was Hopewell cultural burial ground. All of these mounds were destroyed before they could be studied by archaeologists. But it is clear that they held many amazing artifacts, similar to those found at other Hopewell cultural mounds. Okay, guys, now look down here. This is called the Shaman of Newark. The only artifact that you can see today that is known with certainty to have come from these mounds is a small stone sculpture of a person, possibly a shaman, wearing bare religia. Is this a representation of a prominent person, a hero from a traditional story, or a spiritual being? So this is the only artifact you currently can still see that they found from the mound. So let's go ahead and we will head back. So if you grab Kaylee's Jeremiah, please turn around and head back towards that way. I'd appreciate it.
I remember walking on some of the old mounds that they had blown out.
Oh, you remember walking back in the day?
No, I remember walking in. I remember it was in the mound or underneath our feet.
Oh, that they had dug?
Yeah.
The archaeologists dug?
Yeah.
That's true. And like I said, you know how we just saw that they were only able to find currently still today is that shaman of Newark culture. I wonder if there's anything, even just a fragment of something still left underneath these mounds. Yep, you're right. Exactly. So as we're wrapping around, guys, to these mounds, there is an opening right there. So standing, you're right, Tanner. Exactly, it does curve around. So from my view right here, it is a horseshoe shape because the mound starts over there, goes all the way around when we were inside of it, and then there's the other end of it. And then that opening right there that cuts through it, so it's a horseshoe shape. So I wonder, so guys, now we know that there was a log house under those 3 mounds. We know that in the earthworks that it was a Hopewell cultural burial ground. So we know that. I was talking a little bit about how the scientists, their views, you know, of what this could have been. But there's, you know, not any concrete evidence. But remember that the scientists thought that these earthworks were aligned to the circle of the rising and the setting of the moon. That was their theory. Remember that these earthworks, you know, some of the sides ranged from 940 to 950 feet long, and they enclosed a total of about 20 acres. Some of the walls, remember, were 8 feet high. And remember how we went around this mound and we saw the beginning of that moat that is no longer there. But if you stand right here, guys, there's those mounds again. So now we know exactly. Tanner said it's all connected. It's just one big circle. Now we're not at the mound builders, but that's another part of the history, guys. So it spreads that far. And I just wish, you know, it wasn't destroyed by humans, you know, by civilization. I wish it would have been more preserved, so that we can, you know, value this. Here, what is this for? Ha! Remember, I was calling this a fort because I felt like I was in a fort. Here we go. It is not a fort, it's not a city, but it's a special place of ceremony. The Great Circle used to be called the Oral Fort because people thought the interior ditch as a moat was served as a moat. God, that's what we were just talking about. For a moat to be used in defense, however, it should be located outside rather than inside the walls. Cornelius Matthews recognized the problem in 1839, but he was still convinced that the Great Circle was a fort. And he argued that it was constructed on principles of military science now lost or inexplainable. The water-filled ditch served as a ceremonial purpose, perhaps as a water barrier that cannot be crossed by the spirits of the dead, or perhaps as a symbolic version of the watery beneath world upon which our middle world floated in many American Indian traditions. So there you have it. I was calling it a fort. It is a special place of ceremony. There. Yep. You ready? Okay, guys. Hi, Jonah.
That was really awesome. Thank you. And I was really with you. Just without the use of modern tools, that is really an amazing thing. I mean, I've seen people use bulldozers and front end loaders, and still it would take, you know, days, weeks to create something like that. And I can only imagine just how long and how many people would be involved to make something that massive. So it's pretty crazy. So any questions for Tish before we wrap up? Dusty, is that cool?
How does the green circle work?
the green
Well,
circle?
I mean, she looks like Cheryl size.
So one of the mounds was called the Green Circle Earthworks, and that was just one of the special ceremonial mounds. Again, they're thinking that all of this is part of astronomy and has to deal with the rising and the setting of the moon, but they do not have concrete evidence to prove that that theory is right. But that's what they're thinking. They're thinking it has to do with the alignment and the rising and the setting of the moon.
Interesting. So thank you, Tish, for coming on again. And if for all of you, it's Tuesday, so it's Tish has become our new one of our new virtual tour favorites, and she is always a good omen for good weather, because she's brought us a whole bunch of outdoor activities. So that means that if you are all done on PALS TV, make sure you try to get yourselves out, get some exercise, get some sunshine. It's always good. But if you do want to hang out, that will be all we have for new content. I do have one of our greatest hits that I'm going to put on now. It was a magic show that we had in week 3. Very cool show. So if you don't have anywhere to go and you want to watch that, you can stick around here. But if not, I will see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Have a great afternoon. Try to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.